Hello again and welcome to In the Kitchen with Halifax Public Libraries. My name is Andy Hay and we've got a very fun recipe for you today. This is healthy, wildly delicious, and something that I can guarantee you will be craving from here on out. Let's get cooking. So today we're going to be doing one of my favorite ways and favorite recipes ever is served in a bowl. I find it so satisfying to eat out of a bowl. So what we're going to do is a chicken burrito bowl. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of bright flavors, crispy chicken skin, some lovely rice. I'll show you a couple secret ingredients that I like to use that hopefully you will have in your pantry now and you can use in all sorts of different ways. So let's get kicking on. First things first, what we're going to start on is the chicken. Chicken thighs. I feel like it's an underused part of the chicken. It's delicious. It's not overly expensive. It has so much flavor. That skin has flavor. Having the bone in there allows you to keep a lot of that moisture in there so you don't overcook it. It doesn't get dry. Chicken thighs are the way to go. So what we're going to do here is we are going to cook this in the oven, but just as a starting point, what we're going to do is crisp up some of that skin in a pan, in a pan, and then get it into the oven. So first things first, with any meat that you're using, it's very important that you season it first with salt. So I've got a little bit of salt already on here, but just give that a little bit of a season. You can season this a couple hours in advance if you want to give it time for that salt to seep into the actual protein itself, but that's looking really good. If you want to add in some cumin, coriander, different spices here, go for it. This is your meal. Never feel like you have to follow this recipe exactly. That's the funnest part of cooking. Be a rebel. Put whatever you want into it. So what I'm going to do now is I have this pan pretty hot. It's a dry pan, non-stick. What I'm going to do is place it down, skin down, and we're going to hear that lovely sound that I just love, that sizzle. You know that pan's hot enough. That's absolutely crucial here. So we're just going to lay these directly down into the pan. And we're not going to go for a big cook in the pan right now. We're just wanting to crisp up that skin, because who doesn't like crispy chicken skin? So while this is crisping up, what you could also do is turn on your oven right now to, I have it at about 425. A lot of times with oven cooking, and for me for a long time, I would always cook at low temperatures. It would be like 350, 300. I love cooking at very high temp. It adds a lot of flavor, a lot of texture, and the beautiful part of cooking with chicken thighs is you don't really have to worry about it getting dried out. If it's a chicken breast, it's a little bit of a different story, but the great thing of these chicken thighs is that bone will keep that meat really nice and moist. So we'll just let that sizzle away there. We'll place this one off to the side. Obviously, when cooking chicken, just be careful to keep your hands and whatever surfaces that you're using with the chicken very clean. Raw chicken can make you sick, so just be careful with that. We're just going to let that keep going right there. So while that's cooking away, let's get started on the rice. So you can use all sorts of different rice, whatever you have access to here. Let me just give this a little shake. So I love using jasmine rice, basmati rice. They just have lovely big flavors. So I'm going to teach you a trick about making rice that will change your life. Turn on the fan there, it's getting a little smoky. So, making rice, some people get a little bit stressed out about making it. It's really easy to do. So the way I do it is, you're going to want to do a ratio of, hang tight, this is getting too smoky for me. We'll get started on the chicken first. Oh yeah, you see, I got a nice coloring on there, the chicken. Don't be scared to give it a little bit of burn. Burn adds flavor, and it's an easy thing to say if you burn something. You can just say, I meant to do that. Alright, that's looking good. We're just going to chuck those chicken breasts directly into the oven. Get that off to the side. We won't worry too much about those other ones. So I'm going to chuck this into the oven right now. We have it preheated at 420. We'll pop that in for the better part of 40-ish minutes. We'll come back and have a peek at that very shortly. Make sure that the tongs that we use with the chicken are out of the way. Now, officially moving on to the rice. I'm just going to turn that down ever so slightly. So like I was saying with rice, you're going to want to do a ratio of 2 to 1 water to rice when cooking it. So what I'm going to do now is I have a 1 cup measurement, and I'm just going to pour the rice directly into that 1 cup. So if, a little math problem for us right now, if the ratio is 2 to 1, we've got 1 cup of rice, we're going to need 2 cups of water. So I just pop that directly in. So I'm going to grab 2 cups of water, and then turn that on to boil. 1 cup. So now what we're going to do is bring that rice mixture with the cover off up to a boil. So I'm going to bring that right up to a boil, and we want to make sure that that gets to a rolling boil. Once that rolling boil is reached, what we're going to do then is add or put on the cap and then set a timer for 12 minutes. Once that 12 minutes is done, take the rice off the heat. You're done, just let it sit, and it will be perfect rice, I guarantee you. My friend taught me that trick, and I will never ever forget it. So that pan was preheated, so we're almost to a rolling boil there already. So while that's coming up to temp, let's get prepared with our fresh salsa, or Pico De Gallo. This is a lovely, lovely way to add a lot of flavor, a lot of freshness. You're going to thank me for this recipe if you're not already cooking it at home. So what we're going to want to use here is some tomatoes, some red onions, some cilantro. If you like it spicy, some jalapeno is amazing in this one as well. So we can see that that rice has reached a boil, so we're just going to turn that down to low, the lowest setting, and we're going to set a timer for 12 minutes. Could someone set a 12-minute timer for me? And that's it. So just let that sit for 12 minutes and we'll come back to that. So like I said, let's kick on to this Pico De Gallo. A lovely, lovely little fresh salsa here. So I picked these tomatoes this morning from my garden. So what we're going to do is just slice these and get this ready to go. So we're going to slice them relatively thin. If you like it thicker, go for that. That's fine as well. Don't worry too much about this, but this is so easy, so fresh, so delicious. Okay, so those tomatoes are all chopped up there. They're looking beautiful. Next up, let's get going on this red onion. So I've shown this before in a couple of videos, but if this is your first one, I'm going to walk you through how to properly chop an onion. Dice an onion, I should say here. So we've got the onion cut in half. All I did there was slice it down vertically. We've got the we'll call this the tail end of the onion on this side, and then we've got the top of the onion right there. I'm just going to trim that off slightly. So what we're going to do here is dice up this onion, make it into tiny little cubes. So this, for me, for a long time was a pain to do, but it's actually fairly easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our knife, again, grab the knife, fingers on the blade of the knife, gives you way more control. You want a sharp knife. It's actually safer to use a sharp knife than a dull knife. We're going to plant our hand down onto the onion and secure it to that cutting board. And then we're going to run the knife horizontally through the onion this way. We're going to do that twice. So just take your time here, no rush, don't rush the process. 2 slices. Don't go the whole way through the onion. You're going to want to go about 95% through the whole onion that way. Now, turn the onion towards you, and now we're going to add some slices vertically down, probably about 6 slices down through the onion. And I'll show you exactly what we look like here as well. So now we've got 2 slices. We've got slices going that way, horizontally, and then we also have them going down vertically. So now turn the onion back so the tail is facing this way, and we're just going to run the knife down through all of those incisions, and look at those dices. This, if you have never chopped an onion before, well, you're in luck. This is a great way to learn. But for me, this saved me so much time. It made chopping onions that much easier. They're perfectly diced. This is a good life hack to learn. So I'm just going to pop that into the fresh salsa as well. Again, beautiful colors, that red, that purple, they play very well together. So next up, I love cooking with garlic. Garlic adds so much flavor. It's a lovely, inexpensive ingredient that I couldn't imagine living without. Garlic is so good. I add it in basically absolutely everything. Not desserts, but I probably could if I wanted to. Alright, so we're just going to peel off the skin of that piece of garlic. I'm going to use 2 cloves of garlic because I love the flavor of fresh garlic. If you don't, again, feel free to omit or not put anything in that you see I'm doing. You're like, but Andy, I don't really like garlic. That's cool. Don't put it in there. It's all good. This is your meal. Okay, so now when we're chopping up this garlic, what you can do is lay that knife flat down and just hit it with your palm, and that flattens it right out. Makes it a little bit easier to dice. We're just going to run that knife through it. We'll mince it up. We want to make sure that there's not huge chunks of garlic in there. We want them pretty small. Just run the knife over it, run your finger off the blade, keep it nice and clean. Alright, that's looking awesome. Alright, there we go. into the bowl, and we'll go with 2 of this. Why not? Why not? Garlic is never bad to add into any dish, in my opinion. I love it. This salsa itself comes from Mexico. It would be put on a lot of tacos, a great way to have freshness onto any dish that you're making. A lot of times with cooking, what you're trying to do is balance flavor. So, for instance, if you're a lot of Mexican cuisine, one of my favorite Mexican dishes in the world is a taco. So think of what's going on to a taco. It could be grilled pork or grilled beef or grilled chicken. So that's like deep, heavy flavors. So what you would want to do with that deep, heavy flavor is balance it out with something fresh and light and zippy. That's what cooking's all about. It's balancing flavors. That's how you build something super delicious in flavor. All right, you can smell the freshness coming already. I'll add in a pinch of salt. And now you see we have the onions, those tomatoes, that garlic. This, to me, needs a little bit of freshness. So what I'm going to do now is put in a little bit of fresh cilantro. What we're going to do next, that rice is cooking away, I'm going to introduce you to one of my favorite secret ingredients that I cook with. Chipotle peppers in adobo sauce. This is very inexpensive. It's at most grocery stores. It's incredible. It's smoky, it's spicy, without being too spicy. It is so incredibly delicious. I hope you buy this and it becomes in your secret weapon arsenal. I absolutely love it. So what we're going to do now is just open this up. You can kind of see what that looks like inside. You've got those peppers, that sauce. It's smoky. Oh, I just love this stuff so much. So I'm just going to pull out some of those peppers. You want that sauce. That sauce is really lovely as well. So what I'm going to do with this is get it out onto the cutting board, give it a really good chop, and I'm actually going to put that directly into the rice once it's cooked. I'm going to use some of that, the zest from the lime, some of this chipotle pepper itself, dress up and season every component that you're cooking with. Don't forget about the rice, never forget about your noodles. Give them some love, and it will go a very long way. So we'll give this a nice chop, and we'll get this set off into this bowl here. That's really nice and spicy, so if you're not someone that likes spice, just be careful with that. Since we're seasoning up the rice here, I've got a couple pieces of green onion that will also add some lovely freshness and brightness. So with this, the green onion is an amazing ingredient. So when you see this at a grocery store, you'll have the long stalks, part of it will be dark green, and down towards this end, it turns into white. So it's a little bit different. At the stalks, you can slice really thin, and they're lovely. This end is a little bit different, so we can cut it and treat it differently. So what we can do here is cut this into smaller little bites. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay the green onion down on the board, facing me. I'm going to take my knife, I'm going to hold it, I'm going to slice from the top part here and just run my knife down so it's like this. That's step one. Next, turn the green onion to the other side, and we're going to do the exact same thing again. If you're a camper and make spider hot dogs, similar thing going on here. So you can kind of see what we have set up. That's going like this. Now what we're going to do is just run our knife down, and it just gives us smaller little bites of green onion, just because this part of the onion is a little bit more flavorful, a little bit more powerful. It doesn't chop up as nicely as the top green parts. So we'll add that in with the chipotle peppers. So we're getting a lot of the prep done. What we're going to be waiting on at the end of the day is that chicken, which is in the oven. It's looking good. So now what we're going to do is, it wouldn't be a burrito, to me at least, without some cheese. So just get some mozzarella, a cheese grater, a lovely kitchen tool to use. We'll get a little bit of that cheese ready to go. We'll finish with that. We'll get that salsa ready. You can add in all sorts of different vegetables here, whatever you are craving. This is one of those dishes that when I don't know what I want, I'll go into the fridge and I'll just find ingredients that I have that might be kind of a little bit old in the fridge that I want to use. And this is a great way to use up a lot of those ingredients. So we'll get that cheese all ready. With cooking, as in life, preparation is vitally important. Any chef, any cook talks all the time about their prep. Their mise en place is what it's called in the cooking world. So this is what we're building right now. We're getting a mise en place. We're getting everything prepared so that when we start to plate, it comes together very quickly. We've got our cheese. We've got our Pico De Gallo. Our rice is, I would say, done, if I was to guess. So what I'm going to do there is, that's been 12 minutes. I'm just going to take it off the heat. That's ready to go. We're just going to leave that there until we're ready to season. We're gonna do a quick tidy up. This would be a great time to maybe do some dishes, if you've got dishes, so you don't have to do it after you're done eating. If you're cooking for a large group, the oven is definitely an easier process, but where we're just looking to get 1 or 2 pieces finished for this bowl, maybe I'll do a quick finish of this in the pan. So what we can look at here while that's cooking on the bottom, what I did there is I'm cooking this with the bone down. This will make sure that we already know that we have a nice crispy skin on here, so we'll let those cook away. They'll sizzle. That means that they're happy pieces of chicken. So next up, let's have a peek at this rice. So again, all we did here was cook for 12 minutes. Ratio 2 to 1, so 1 cup rice, 2 cups water. And you can see already how fluffy and nice that is. Really nice rice. Looking great. We can give that a little taste, make sure. Absolutely perfect. Okay, this would be fine to serve as is, but we have that chopped chipotle pepper. We got that green onion. Might as well pop that in there. Give it a little stir. Adds a little smokiness, a little heat. Oh yeah, you can smell that. It's going to be nice and spicy. Again, if you don't want it spicy, don't feel like you have to add that in there. It would also be lovely with this dish to add in some sour cream to balance out all the different flavors that we get going on here. I'm just going to add a little bit of lime juice. Make this rice absolutely sing. Which I think will be a lot of fun. Alright. So we're looking very good. We're just going to let that rice sit, get the cheese ready, the salsa's ready. We're in very good shape. Give this a little flip. We'll see how we're doing that in a second. So with this, you could barbecue this chicken. You could pan fry it in the oven. You could fry it if you wanted to. You could boil it if you're in a pinch. That's the fun thing with cooking. There's a million ways to make delicious food. So we'll see how this does. So what we're going to do here is actually peel it off the bone. And you could serve it on the bone if you like to. I just find for an eating experience, that's an important part of cooking as well. I was thinking, how is this going to eat? Think about that end person that's eating it, whether it's you or your family. You want to make sure that they're enjoying what they're eating, and it's a fun time. So we're just going to cut this off the bone. I'm going to hit it back in the pan just to give it a little bit of crispiness. Make sure that it's totally cooked through, but it's looking really good now. All right, in good shape there. So we'll pop this back in, and we are seconds away from plating up. So I'm going to get rid of this cutting board. Okay, well that's finishing cooking. We can start building this bowl. So you have that rice, spicy, smoky, lovely flavor. Pour that directly into the bowl. Depending on how hungry you are, add in as much as you like. Next up, we've got that Pico De Gallo, that fresh salsa. This is a game changer. You're gonna love that. You can just smell how fresh that is. The lime, the cilantro. I'm gonna pour that directly on. So much color, so much vibrancy. Just a lovely, lovely way to zip up, add in a bunch of flavor, a bunch of fresh vegetables. So unbelievably good. And how we do with the chicken here. The chicken's getting close. Gonna add a little bit more color. What I'm gonna do now is put some of that cheese underneath. I wanna sit that chicken, that hot chicken, directly on that cheese so it melts a little bit. What a fun meal. I love this. Food is so fun, it's so delicious. You can express yourself with it. Cooking, I find, is just such an enjoyable life experience. It's something you're probably gonna have to do your whole life, so you might as well enjoy it, because it makes it that much easier. All right, this chicken's looking amazing. I'm just gonna take that directly out, sit it on top of the cheese. Oh, baby, it's looking good. Give some of that crispy chicken skin, because why not? No one is angry with crispy chicken skin. All right, we're gonna just pop that off. Looking great. We're gonna give that a little bit of love with cilantro. Just a couple pieces of fresh cilantro. How fun is this? Cooking is magic. I just absolutely love it. No one is going to be angry with you serving them this dish. We've got that crispy chicken, that Pico De Gallo, Chipotle rice, a little bit of lime, cheese hidden underneath there. That is an amazing weeknight meal. Tons of fuel. not lacking any flavor. Give that one a try. I hope you enjoy it. I appreciate you so much spending this time. Enjoy cooking, never get stressed out, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye.